morning. Welcome to the recruitment management demonstration.
Yeah,
Good morning,
hi,
ma'am.
hi, Sophia. Good
Morning.
morning.
Yeah. Now moving forward, today what are we going to see? All right. So we have a course objective which I'm going to run, the prerequisites of success factors, because someone like Prasanna has to understand, do I really have to get into here or not? Right? Is this my cup of tea or not? So what are the prerequisites that I should be knowing as an individual in order to get into success factors, and who should take up this course? Basically, advantages of success factors training and the training benefits that you're going to achieve, all right, out of our trainings. All right, so this is what we are going to cover on a whole in this. So to get started with, who should take up this course? All right. So basically you have two prerequisites that every individual has to benchmark themselves where they are standing in these two areas, then professionally decide about what is their career line. All right. Of which number one is, what are your core competencies in terms of HR knowledge? Okay, like say Prasanna has already worked in say some sort of a company, so what kind of recruitment process she might have gone through, and what kind of say onboarding or say file management or say HRIS systems that she has gone through, some sort of a process would definitely be there that she might have gone through, right? So as a completely out of track of success factors or HR process, someone like Prasanna is supposed to understand that yes, this is called as a recruitment process, this is called as an onboarding process, this is what I have done the tasks in the HRIS gathering. If you have that kind of a visibility on HR, you're good to get started with success factors. There's no hard and fast rule to stop you. Okay, number one. Number two, you should simultaneously grow consulting skills. All right. So Somel don't have to worry about the consulting skills because she's already into IT recruitment. Okay. But someone like Prasanna, you should be now getting started with the consulting skills. All right. So these
Yes.
consulting skills will include your explanation skills, okay, your training skills, your interpretation skills, your conveying skills, and your convincing skills. Okay, because the moment you get started with your job, you're first going to get started with the recruitment process, or say any module for that matter. You're going to start with workshops, so where you will have to talk about that product, you have to exhibit that product. So when you have to talk about a product, you should be knowing a good communication. More of a communication, it is more of how do you convey to the other person. All right. So do not worry about it right away, because every company is going to train you on all of these things. Unless you give them a kind of a mock, they'll not put you before the client right away. Okay. So don't worry on that front. You will still be on the safer side. Okay.
Okay.
So who can take up this course on a professional background? Is that somebody who is from SAP HR, SAP ABAP, SAP HR functional, PeopleSoft, Workday, HCM consultants, etc. So you see most of these kind of a professionals migrating into success factors. Okay. Second is HR domain experienced professionals, recruiters, HR grads and post grads, reporting analysts from any of the technologies. Okay, and then support staff working for SAP HCM modules, and it is not again limited to. We also saw certain science backgrounded participants getting into success factors and excelling today in different companies. So it's an open market. There is no such clause given by success factors for this product that my product should be executed only by XYZ consultants or XYZ backgrounded professionals. Nothing like that. All right. Okay. Now, so basically, you will have to understand, if not success factors, what are the other options I have in the market today? Okay. So for that matter, you first have to understand what is success factors, where is it positioning currently. Okay, see, both of you are from totally different backgrounds, so you will have to understand the fundamentals of what is the success factors, what exactly are you trying to do here. Okay, so success factors is basically a product of SAP. Okay, and SAP is an ERP, enterprise resource planning. So these are fundamentals. Kindly understand that beyond the demonstration, this is useful for your fundamental understanding of success factors going forward, and this is also useful for all your workshops or demonstrations. So whatever information I am giving you, try to download it as much as possible and try to remember it. All right. So getting started with an ERP. ERP is an it's a centric, basically it's a business centric, where an ERP will have all the zones. So if a company is coming to ERP, it means that it should have a finance assistance, it should have a marketing assistance, it should have a customer care assistance, it should have a HR assistance. What do you mean by that? Say for example, you're working for, you consider a client, say ZTV. All right. So now ZTV wants to approach SAP that we want a financial tool. So SAP being an ERP should say, yes, I can provide an financial tool. You need it on cloud or you need it on premise. Okay. Second is they say, okay, we are looking for an HR product as well. We are looking for a tool as well. We are looking for an analytics tool as well. So the answer from an ERP, because it is satisfying the business needs as a centric, it should have a yes as an answer. All right. So that kind of a business centric is called as an ERP. That's what ERP is basically means. Okay. So SAP is an ERP. The moment anybody says that you're working for an ERP, it means that yes, that product has all the other zones also. That is understood. All right. Now, in this SAP, success factors is one of the cloud product. Now, if this is the cloud product, then Sophia, what are the other products that we have? Usual question, right? So usually in SAP, you have two products related to HR. One is HCM, you might have heard about it. Second is success factors. So HCM is a traditional 30 years old, say, tool in SAP, which is on premise. All right. But today, if you see, the decade is into cloud. So success factors is a cloud product. So there is a lot of difference between this on-prem and cloud. We'll see what it is. All right. Now this is about the positioning of success factors. Now the question comes back. If not success factors, what are the other things that I can learn? All right. So today SAP is one of the top most ERP in the market. So what you have chosen is already the topmost. So there's no second thought about it. Okay. Now, other than SAP, you have PeopleSoft, Workday, Oracle Applications, JD Edwards, Ramco Marshalls. So these are the market players. Means what? So when you go for projects, okay, you will see that okay, the XYZ company is currently using say JD Edwards and it is not happy with the HR tool because JD Edwards is strong in say finance. So HR is still there but it is not to the full fledged. So they want to shift from JD Edwards to success factors. You will see this kind of projects coming in where you will see a shift of these ERPs. All right. So this is about the market players. Clear? Any questions?
No concern.
Okay, so what is success factors is the next question. Now we understood where is it positioned. What is this success factors? Basically, this is a cloud-based HR business solution which is designed to meet the needs of an enterprise. Okay, so this enterprise concept was there before the pandemic. During the pandemic, success factors have come up with lot of affordable say models, so that it is in the reach of every single enterprise. So today if you see, SAP has widened its market in such a way that even a startup company can afford success factors. Otherwise this is one of the costliest product for any company to afford when it got launched, and even till before pandemic. Okay, but now things have changed. Now SF is available in the market with the different models. There is an RDS model, there is an SP model. So there's different models of executions. All right. Now, this success factors is, as I said, it's a cloud-based HR business solution. Now, the moment we say HR business solution, say for example, ZTV is talking to you and it says, okay, Prasanna, I have this question for you. We are facing a lot of problem with the visitor management. People keep coming and going because that's a telemedia enterprise. So we are going to, we are facing a lot of issues and we want to have a track of that. So in your system, can you build some sort of a visitor management assistance there so that we can use it? Your straightaway answer to it is this cannot be done. Why this cannot be done is because that particular piece of visitor management do not come into HR process. That's an administration process, administration activity. So your product is purely talking about cloud based HR business solutions. HR means right from hire till fire, whatever transactions that you have within the company is called as HR based, right? So right from the recruitment, that's where you get introduced to the external candidates or say external applicants, right from there till the termination or exit or say firing or whatever, the exit of an employee, whatever processes you have in between is your HR, and that's what we define in success factors. All right, so that is about HR business solutions, which you will have to understand. Usually people ask you these questions in the interviews just to make sure that you understand what is success factors. Now, SuccessFactors Business Execution Suite offers a combination of core HR and talent solutions, both of them. When you say core HR, it is a combination of your Employee Central and Employee Central payroll, which is one is a payroll module, other is the HRIS system. All right. The second is talent solutions. Anything which is with respect to the talent management. Okay. Anything with respect to the process is called as talent solutions. It can be compensation, it can be variable pay, it can be recruitment, it can be onboarding, it can be learning management, it can be succession planning, it can be career development planning, or any other process oriented solution is called as talent solution. All right. Then SAP offers success factors solutions in two ways. This comes when you are executing the product. Okay. One is that success factors always works as a standalone solution. If any company is purchasing only one module, it can always be executed as only one module. You don't need any dependency for it. Hence, it is called as a standalone solution. If any company is taking a business suite altogether, then it goes for a entire success factors implementation. Still that is called as a standalone solution because there is an interflow of data between those modules. All these modules talk to each other. All right. As well as there is another model called as hybrid solutions, where you have hybrid. The word itself says that you're merging two different products where you specially work with SAP HCM solutions and it is integrated to your success factors. This sort of a model is called as a hybrid model. Essentially, you work with both of them. There would be implementations which are standalone, there would be implementations which are hybrid solutions. All right. Now, what is cloud basically? Very importantly asked, and essentially for you to understand what is a cloud. Cloud is nothing but a transparency. The data reciprocal between the employee and the management is always transparent. So that's what you go with the cloud product. That is the reason why people go with the cloud product. Okay, so this cloud execution here has two different parts. One is you have a public cloud, second is there is a private cloud. Okay, when you say a public cloud, it means that you're working for a cloud area or a zonal which is public. Okay, you're sharing the content with the other companies as well. The second is, what is this private cloud? So this is an exclusive executive room of space for your content. All right, where usually a very bigger enterprises go for the private cloud because they have a wider zone, wider population, wider volume of data to be saved. All right, so this cloud model, now when you talk about cloud, you are talking beyond success factors, because not just success factors, C4C, Ariba, Simple Finance, or so many other products which are cloud based. So the moment you're going to cloud, it means that you're talking about all the modules, all the other tools as well, with respect to success factors also. Okay, so here you have different service models and deployment models that a cloud product usually works on. So service models are getting started with, say, launch methodology. It was the first methodology of implementation. Then it moved on to the agile methodology. Then it moved on to the, say, currently it is agile methodology. So after agile, we have another current methodology is approachable methodology, where we are going to talk about launch, agile, approach, all three of them in the first beginning couple of sessions of my trainings. We are going to talk about, because every methodology has certain phases in it. Okay, what are those phases? How is that required and useful for your implementation? And also about your workshops, demonstrations, your iterations, etc. What is the importance of each stage is what we are going to see in the coming sessions. Just that you know, in the current approach methodology, we have four phases. Okay, first is the preparation phase, explore, realize, deploy. Now, what are each one of these phases? We are going to see that in the coming sessions. So the next is the deployment model. Very important. You have certain deployment models which are exhibited by success factors that yes, my products should be implemented this way. So there are certain deployment models which is given by success factors. Okay. Now what are those deployment models is, first you have, suppose you are going with only success factors, and that's what is a talent modules or say talent deployment method. Then side by side deployment method. Then you have SAP HCM versus success factors. So when you have two different models execution, so first do you have to get started with HCM or you have to get started with success factors, because there are so many relative factors which you will have to consider when you're doing a deployment. All right, so there are certain models in this. We are also going to talk about those models in the coming sessions with the interest of time. All right, any questions so far?
No.
Okay, good.
No.
Now, all right, so who are these success factors? This is something that you will have to understand. Okay, so who are these success factors? These are the market leaders who provide the cloud based human capital. So rather you reading out what is there in the slide, that's for your information, just that you understand. Success factors was a usual company like any other company, started off in 2002 by 4 IBM employees. All right, it was a simple company as any other company. It had two modules that it started off with. One was PMGM and one was compensation. These were the two modules. So since 2002 till 2010-11 December, it was all an individual enterprise. Okay. In 2010-11, it was acquired by SAP, and then it became SAP SuccessFactors. All right, so it is acquired by by SAP with a rate of 3.4 billions, and that was a huge amount that point in time for a startup company which has not even completed a decade. All right. So currently, if you look at the success factor statistics, we have more than 20 million subscribers, 8,000 plus customers in 168 countries, and it supports over 40 languages throughout. And there's no other um, tool currently in the market which has this statistics, and that is why success factor is still marking as the top most tool today, even in this pandemic situation. Even in 2021, very recently, SAP is awarded one of the best tool of HR. Okay, this is something that we all should be happy about, because tool is really doing good, and it doesn't mean that it is capturing the entire market and we have less scope. No, there is 80% of the market still waiting for success factors. So there's a huge scope for this particular tool to get started off with. It has just acquired a little bit of the market yet. Okay, and it is spreading over the seas, because it is currently in 168 countries, and it is going to go for all the other countries as well. All right. Now, by now, you might have understood what is a cloud based solution. Okay. So, cloud based solution is nothing but providing a kind of a transparency in terms of your data. Number one, data integrity is maintained. Number two, data security is maintained. Number three, data integration with respect to different modules is maintained. Number five, and moreover, on top of everything, the access is done from anywhere, any time and anywhere. All right, that's more important. So these are the five key points of cloud-based solutions. So how is all of this maintained, Sophia? It's because of data centers. All right. So success factors works on a concept called as data centers. So as the name says, it's a centric for data. Okay. So if not data centers, then what are the other options? You usually, we all might have saw in different companies that, you have certain server rooms maintained. So server rooms are restricted. They have certain assets like ACs that they have to run on certain temperatures. They have to cool themselves, etc. People don't used to just walk into those rooms like this. You might have saw this, right, in the usual industries. So no more of that setup, no more of that, server rooms maintenance, server low, there's no internet, there's a specific team for it who controls the servers, etc. Nothing. We are getting rid of that sort of a setup any longer in any of the company because of this data centers. All right. So SAP has 15 data centers so far, spread across different regions, starting with APAC region, Middle East region, then Asia region, etc. Depending on the regions, there are certain data centers which are distributed. So what is the work of this data center? What do they really do? Say, for example, I'll go back to my example of ZTV for better understanding. Let's say ZTV has 2,000 employees. Okay, the data of that 2,000 employees should be reposited some or the other way. If you're working for, say, Dubai ZTV, so it's a Middle East region, right? So because it is a Middle East region, there are certain specific data centers which are allocated. Who are allocating it? SAP. That's the job of SAP. We are not concerned about it. When a client purchases the success factors, like ZTV purchases success factors recruitment, then SAP is going to allot them, okay, DC2 is your data center. So they have nothing to do with, okay, they'll just have the data with them, okay, and then they'll share it with you so that you can raise your next provisioning and instance accesses with respect to that particular DC. All right. So this data center will have 2,000 accounts, because that's the licenses that might have been purchased by ZTV for their headcount. So they will give ZTV 2,000 license space from that DC center. Okay, that from that data center. So one data center has thousands of licenses spaced. It's a huge one. All right. So they give a little of their space depending on the head count to that particular licensed subscriber. All right. So what is done with that licensed subscriber? Now all the data pertaining to that 2000 employees with respect to that module purchased will be stored in this data center. All right. So wherever, whenever any employee needs the data, it is accessible. So basically you're putting there somewhere on the shelf. That shelf is nothing but your cloud. Okay. Now this whole model which I'm telling you now, right, it is called as SaaS model. Okay, which is otherwise called as software as a service model. So today if you see the current decade, every tool is working on software as a service. That's the current trend in the market. Okay, now if this is the current trend, then what was the previous thing? What were we working on so far? So this is an evaluation of different hierarchies. So if you go back 20 years ahead, I mean 20 years prior, you used to work on IaaS. I'm not sure if you have heard about it. So just that you know about it. Companies expect you to have this background as well. So it is IaaS, which is infrastructure as a service. That's where we all started off with. Okay. So next to it, we had LaaS, which is location as a service. And then we migrated to PaaS, which is platform as a service. And today we are standing at SaaS, which is software as a service. It's all application based. Today you see the entire market, be it a day-to-day work, day-to-day activities, you have everything in terms of applications. Everything. Take take an hospital industry, take a you know entertainment industry, take any industry for that matter, everything is available in terms of an application to you today, and that's nothing but your SaaS model. All right, so what is this SaaS model? How does it work is that here a software and the customer data is hosted remotely, and it is accessed on demand from any location using a unique login credentials of organization. So if I go outside the organizational premises, then take Facebook, Insta, Twitter. We all have our own accounts with respect to the personal email IDs, and we access our accounts at any time. If today I'm in India, tomorrow I'll be in London, so I can access my data from anywhere. I can still post, tweet, say share, blog, uh, 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 comment, say like, whatever activities usually I do sitting at here, I can do it sitting at someone else as well. And that is a social account, so it's public, right? When you talk about success factors, it's private, it is within your organization. However, the data that you can access, you can visit, is again 24 by 7 and irrespective of where you are, and that's what is this model is. Okay, even for success factors, you have a software, you have an application which you can download in your mobile and that you can access. That's the ease of this particular tool, and that's why people purchase this tool, because there's no other tool which is giving you an application based approach so far. It's very very user friendly. All right, now what are the advantages of this SAS model? As I already mentioned, you don't need a hardware to maintain. There's no maintenance required. Your TOC is very low. TOC means what? Total ownership cost. As an organization, I don't have to put on additional cost. All that I have to do is just purchase the license. This works on the licensing model. Any SAS product works on licensing model. Then you have, because it is a licensing model, you have regular releases, bug fixtures, updates, enhancements to this product, and this can be accessed from anywhere. Important information in terms of SF categories is that you have 4 categories. So this is where the module that you want to learn is positioned. All right, so here you have core HR. If somebody is saying you that, okay, in the requirements, okay, we are looking for a core HR, it is understood that they want HR, they want employee central consultant, and they are also looking for an employee central payroll consultant. Then if you go into the roles and responsibilities, they'll define which module consultant they're looking for. Similarly, you'll see we are looking for a talent solutions consultant. So a talent solution consultant means should be able to do any of these processes, but not limited to. All right. Then as HR analytics. So today, if you see recently in Jan 2021, people analytics is another module which has got added into the HR analytics zone. All right. Then a social collaboration. So today we have 14 modules in success factors, 1 4. All right. Any questions so far, guys?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So these are all the bifurcation of the modules. So starting from recruitment, onboarding, EC, PMGM, ECP, comp, variable pay, SP, CDP, LMS, WFA, WFP, JAM, and people analytics. Okay. Out of these modules, what you're going to get started with is recruitment and onboarding. Okay. These two modules are always run as a combination, but they are two different entities. They are two different processes as such. All right. Now, in order to work with success factors, one thing what you'll have to understand is that there are two systems that we usually work on. One is called as a backend system, which is provisioning. Another one is called as front end system, which is called as instance. So backend system is only used to enable the module. For someone like Prasanna, she's from out of the context career, but it's absolutely nothing to worry for her to get started with success factors, because what work typically that she will be doing in the job is that you either work with your provisioning and then you get into your instance. Provisioning is only used for you to enable that particular module with certain check boxes which you're going to learn. Okay. Then comes is the instance. So instance means what? Success factors work on a metadata framework. Please make a note of it if you're making it. It is called as MDF framework. Okay, usually asked in the interviews. So instance is nothing but your MDF framework. What is MDF framework? It's a pre-built system, like you have your Facebook, right? So you have a setup already and you're going to configure. Configurations are nothing but the arrangement of already defined language. All right. So there is nothing you're coding here, you're writing a language over here. You're just setting up that system so that it works as per the client requirement. You're initiating it. Hence, you are called as an implementer, but not a engineer. You're not an engineer here. You're working as a implementer or a configurator. So your job is a techno-functional IT role. All right, you're working technically, you're working functionally as well. So you're doing a techno functional job here. All right. So this provisioning is used for you to enable the module, and entire setup works on the instance. You usually work on three environments. One is the development system, test system, production system. So development system is for your play. The consultant wants to try out something, workarounds or customizations, whatever. That is all done in the development system. Then once this is fixed, all the configurations will be moved into your test system, where the client will test the system with their original data. Now we are giving it to client. Now your setup is ready. Do whatever testing that you want to do with different scenarios. Come back to me if you have any sort of a problem. And then they come back to you with problems, if any, then you're going to sort it out. All right. Once it is all done and all clear with the test system, you're then going to move everything into the production system and then declare a go live. So once you declare a go live, then that product is getting used by that particular company for years together. So that's what you're designing their recruitment process or say onboarding process, which they're going to use it for coming years. Okay. So far, is it clear? Any questions? Because this ends up the fundamentals of success factors that you'll have to understand. Now I'm going to drive through the recruitment process, purely how does the recruitment process works. Any questions so far, guys?
No, not from me.
Good, good. Uh, from the other participant?
No, ma'am.
Okay, good. Now this talks about, I'll be a little quick with the interest of time, guys, here. So we will have an introduction of recruitment management, the process, the core features of it, ATS, which is applicant tracking system, other features, mobile features, and reports and dashboards as well. So here I'm going to use one slide which will interpret all the processes for you. So which starts with the recruitment management. So usually your recruitment management is nothing but your selection process. Okay, how do you select an employee, or how are you going to select a candidate? Now when you say a candidate, can be an external candidate, can be an internal candidate, can be a candidate coming from an agency, can be somebody who has applied into a social account, etc. So can that candidate be from any source? Okay, how are you managing the selection process of a company is called as the recruitment management. It is limited to only this process. All right. Now you have a lot of functionalities, features. It's a wide module with a lot of smaller concerns answered. There's so many automations within this module which no other module in the market is giving you. All right. Now, what is all of this thing processed is here. So if you take the first slide, which is this one, you see this. Recruiter initiates the job requisition through position. Obviously, because when you have employee central, it controls the position management. Okay. So if you have any vacant positions, then you're going to raise a requisition against the vacant position. Let's take a small example for you to basically understand this. You're working for, say IBM. All right. So IBM has success factors department. Okay. The practice head of success factors department looks for a RCM consultant. So there is a position, somebody might have left and that position might have become vacant. So they are raising a requirement against that requisition, against that vacant position. So what usually happens here, that the practice head will say, okay, there's a vacancy in my team, so I'm raising this requisition. Recruiter, can you please start working on that particular requirement? I want a person with 4 years experience, XYZ things. Now is he going to go orally tell him? No, he is going to use the system, build a particular form which is done by you. He will just use that form, fill all the details, and then is going to submit that requisition for an approval, because he cannot sometimes take the end decision. So it should be approved by finance for budget, or say by somebody else who have to approve that particular requirement, that yes, go ahead, we have a need. All right. Else they say, okay, hold on for 6 months and then we can get started with the requirements. Okay. So this way it goes for a approval process. So once it goes to an approval process, finally, once all the approvals are done, it reaches the recruiter. Now what is recruiter going to do here? Recruiter is going to review that particular form, because recruiter have to understand what is the requirement. So she or he will go through all the recruitment details and start doing the postings. That's where we are here. Can you see this cursor? We are here. A recruiter will do a job postings. Okay. Now this job postings means what? Usually recruiter will post where? Internally. Internally means what? Now I as an external candidate will go into ibm.com. Okay. Once I land on to the ibm.com, I'll go into careers. Once I land on to the careers page, I'll see the requirements. Okay, I saw RCM requirement, I want to apply for it. So I'll click on that, I'll go apply for it. So when I apply for it, it takes me to certain other pages which we are going to see now. But that's how is the external posting, where I as a third particular applicant can go look into the requirement and apply. Number one. Number two, it is posted internally, means that it is not coming out of IBM zone, it is inside the IBM. This is where you have referrals, you email the job requisitions to your friends, etc. There are certain requirements which need an internal move within the company. So all of this process will be done using the internal postings. Okay. Then the third thing comes is the agency posting. Now it is really going to a particular agency. So where you get bulk candidates, that yeah, they send you 10 RCM consultants, of which as a recruiter I pick up only 2 to 3 which is relevant to my requisition. All right. So that's a agency posting. Now, apart from these three, I, as an IBM recruiter, have the pleasure that I can directly post it to Naukri, Monster, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, wherever there is a posting zone, you can post it over there. And here, whenever you see, suppose Naukri.com, if I, as an IBM recruiter, has to post a particular requirement into Naukri, first of all, I should have Naukri access subscription. Provided I have a current running subscription, I can post the job into Naukri.com. Okay. So when I post these jobs into Naukri.com, it is public. Anybody can apply there. It's a public zone altogether, right? So this kind of an interaction between the Naukri.com and the SuccessFactors RCM is called as integration. So here you have number of third-party integrations. You can have it integrated with Naukri, Monster, Dice, Hire, Twitter, Indeed, whatever are the third-party job posting tools. You can always have that integrations done. All right. Now the next is the candidates. Now this is where your candidates come into picture. Now what is candidate doing? Candidate is simply searching for job, and the moment he gets a relevant job is going to apply. So where is he going to apply from? The career site, right? What is a career site? When you go into any company's website, the column that you have, the tab that you have careers is nothing but your career site. All right. You go and apply over there. Once you apply, okay, I don't know if you have tried it out. If not, then just go try it out. The moment you go into any company website and say careers and apply for a requisition, it will first ask you to sign up. Okay. Sign up with some limited data. Okay. Usually called as background data. Background data means what? What is the background data of Prasanna? Where did she work? What is her experience? What are the languages that she know? What are the proficiency certifications that she hold? Or say what is the previous experience with the relevancy of success factors, or what is the end user experience? So all this is background of say Prasanna. All right. So it's not talking about your present or your future state. It is talking about your background element. So that is captured in something called as candidate profile. So when you create your Facebook, right, you give certain basic details in the very initial setup of your Facebook as well. Similarly, your candidate profile. Okay. Now once you fill your candidate profile, it will then take you to something called as candidate application. Can you see my cursor here? This is candidate applications. Now what is candidate application? So some jobs, the moment you say application, it is well understood that this is very much specific to the job related questions. Now if you're applying for an RCM consultant, they say that okay, this particular consultant should be open to travel. Okay. If you say no, I don't want to travel, then RCM is not probably your cup of tea, because that module or say that particular job requires a travel. Okay. Are you certified? The moment you say no, I'm not certified, you're rejected then and there itself. That's called as pre-screening. Even before the junk enters into the website, you're doing a round of screening there itself using a job specific questions and the data with respect to job specific details. Okay. So that is called as candidate applications. So candidate applications is again another form. All right. We'll go do a deep dive about it when we get started off with the sessions. So candidate application is something that you configure. It can be n number depending on the roles. Okay, so that's about candidate application. And then once the candidate applies to it, this candidate application details will go to the recruiter. Now recruiter is going to look at all of this, and once he or she is okay, she's going to get started with something called as a screening process. Okay, so this screening process is nothing but your application tracking system, which is this one. All right, so what is this? So currently there are two, say for example, candidates who are forwarded, one who has applied from an external source. Now out of these two of these three candidates, there are certain candidates who are shortlisted. Okay, now those shortlisted candidates will go for a phone screening, then they'll go for an interview. So here in this particular applicant status is nothing but the talent pipeline. Okay, so talent pipeline is nothing but the buckets. You have different buckets. Each of this box is called as a bucket. Okay, so you're just dropping the candidates into different buckets so that you understand what is the status of each of these candidates, how many of them selected, how many of them are in ready to hire, how many of them are in background check, etc. It's a process. All right, so this is called as applicant tracking system, which we run. And here technically you can group certain statuses into one. You can make any status as mandatory that recruiter cannot skip it, because it is actually satisfying your standards of the company. All right, so this way you will have a applicant tracking system which it runs on. All right, now any questions so far within the process of recruitment?
No, ma'am.
No.
Good. Now within this talent pipeline itself, okay, you will have one tab which is called as onboarding. All right, so the moment my background verification is done, now again, you can ask a question saying that, okay Sophia, is background check might not be there for some companies, might be there for some companies, then how are you going to handle this particular talent pipeline? Configuration is absolutely customizable. You have two, say steps, you put two steps. You have four steps, you put four steps. You have 10 steps, you put 10 steps. Okay, there's no hard and fast rule here that you should definitely have XYZ process that you'll have to run. This is why this system is so improvised, because this supports every business. All right, so at the end you see that there is the onboarding tab. So the moment you put that candidate into onboarding, your onboarding module will get started from there on. Okay, that is the connectivity between recruitment and onboarding. Okay, now as a recruiter, I'll just hit on a button saying that initiate onboarding. That's it. My job as a recruiter is completed. My recruitment process there is completed. And from there, onboarding module is going to pick up the details of that candidate and run the onboarding process. Now we'll talk about the onboarding process as well. Okay, now this is the interaction between recruitment and onboarding, which is otherwise called as the integrations of RCM to onboarding. All right, so this is the whole setup that you have within the recruitment management. In this you have offer management, which I have highlighted here. Okay, in this you have interview setup, where you can integrate it with Outlook directly, so that recruiter don't go have to go knock everybody's door, ask whether are you available or not. Nothing doing, it's all online. Everybody can see whether the interviewer is available or not available and fix it up. They don't have to go roam around rooms and then find out. All right, so this is as easy as this process. Okay, that interview process which I was talking about is called as interview scheduling and interview central. All right, it's a center for interviews where if I am an interviewer, I'll be able to see, okay, how many interviews I'll have to do. I can accept that interview or I can reject that interview, probably because I am heading for a leave. Okay, or say some other reason, so I can always decline or I can always accept that interview request and then proceed further. All right, next, the certain very nice catching tools in this particular integration, in this particular say recruitment management. where most of your interviews are dependent on this tracking system, which talks about the employee referral, employee tracking, employee dashboards, employee say reports, ad hoc reports, standard reports, canvas reports, all this kind of a reports. Canvas is nothing but your online reporting design, okay, online tool for a report designing. All right, so this way you will have number of reportings, and I'm going to walk you through all the reportings in the sessions. All right, so standard integrations with other modules is only two things. This is where you are safe. Okay, RCM to EC, RCM to onboarding to EC. If onboarding is there, then RCM will talk to onboarding, and then onboarding will talk to EC. Okay, if onboarding is not there, what do you mean by it is not there? Company did not purchase it, as simple as that. Then RCM is directly going to talk to employee central. All right, these are the only two integrations which you will see in recruitment management. All right, so this ends the recruitment process, guys. Good that you do not have any questions. Probably you should be either clear with the concept or the process, or you're unclear. Yeah, anyway, so this is how you log in into the system. This is the new look and feel of success factors, which is 2H 2020 updated, and 1H 2021 updated. So this is the new look and feel. You see there is a change in the UI. If you had already done a previous training like SOML, you see there is a change in the look and feel of the system. So this is the new UI. Not that you cannot go back to the previous one. This is what is introduced by SF. Okay. This is called as landing page because you're landing on this the moment you log in into the systems. Hence, it is called as a landing page. On the landing page, this is called as a home drop down button, which will give you the authentications for different modules. If you are an authorized person that I can access goals, performance, continuous performance, calibration, etc., whatever is given here in this list is what you are authenticated to get started with recruiting. Okay, I have logged in as a super administrator, by the way. This is the recruitment dashboard. All right, why is this dashboard? I already told you that this talks about certain statistics, etc., certain numbers, display of the list, current status, hence it was called as recruitment dashboard. So this is the recruitment statistics, which is not standard. You will have to configure it. Okay. Everything that you're seeing on this page is not coming up as the standard. Certain things are standard, certain things are something that you have to enable, and that's what you're going to learn. That what permissions do I have to give to see this create new button? It is not usually displayed unless you do something. All right. Then say reports and say offers, so you're doing something for this particular setup to be seen like this. Okay, now you see certain unpleasant colors like white job requisition. I hardly can see what it is. Now this kind of color setup, this is called as theme manager, which is a part of your introduction to mastery concepts, a part of your EC. So where you're setting up the theme as per the client requirement, usually mapping to their say logo. All right, so once you design all of this, then the other modules keep up in the system. That is, now recruitment is sitting on the system. All right, now this is about the requisition statistics. This is where you will have the dashboard where you will see there are certain recruitments which are not approved, so this can be approved like this, and some recruitments which are already approved, you see them like this. And there is edit the job requisition, job postings, market the job, duplicate job requisitions, candidate summary, add a candidate, search for the candidates. So there are two different zones. You have a requisition actions, you have candidate actions. Now when you go for interviews, right, people are not going to ask you something beyond the context. They're just going to ask you, like, on the recruitment dashboard, the moment I mouse over on the administration support or say some sort of a requirement, what are the two sections that you will see? So one is requisition section, another is the candidate section. Okay, so as a candidate, as a consultant, you have to remember these things, that okay, on this particular mouse over, on this pop-up, I see these two things, and this is what you have to remember. And that's where your experience speaks up, your say your information speaks up. This doesn't come over the night, I would agree to it, unless you do a kind of work into it or you practice into it. Okay, I'm just telling you this because you understand that it is not a, a rocket science tool that you cannot understand or you cannot do. Somebody like Prasanna, you really don't have to worry about, how will I do this job or something. There are thousands of people like you who have come from a different background and happily working in success factors and progressing well in their careers. So this is just as a tool. Nobody has taught us Facebook, right? We still excel in that Facebook accounts. Similarly, here is success factors. All right, so this is about the recruitment management. So I'll go into the candidate summary as well. You only have to understand the words, the technical stuff, etc. It takes a little time, and that's where I'm here to train you on how you'll have to remember all of these things and make it easier for you. All right, this is the talent pipeline that I was talking about. You just have to mouse over on this cursor and it rolls out here. This is where your onboarding is into, so where you can just go click on that onboarded person. This is what is taking him into the onboarding zone, that is into onboarding module as such. All right, but then I have to initiate the onboarding. The moment I initiate the onboarding, that's where I can go ahead, click on this initiate onboarding, and once I click on the initiate onboarding, this person is going into onboarding process. So I'll just go into on and off boarding process. Okay, now inside this onboarding process, you will see that the person is settling here as an onboarding person. Now you might have asked some questions this way also. What if, Sophia, we have one hiring, say we are hiring a senior director. He doesn't go through any of these recruitment process, typical recruitment interviews, etc. Usually top management brings somebody who are well known, and then they say he is your senior director. Happens with us, right? So in that case, how are you going to handle all of this? So there is nobody, nothing called as a recruitment process. Is not even traveling through that zone. Is directly coming into onboarding. Then what are you going to do? Even for that, you have this particular option where you can directly go click on the create new task, where you do not need any connectivity from recruitment. You can directly start in the onboarding itself. So these are all the different tasks which are set up. So if you log in as a administrator, this is how you will see it. If you log in as a hiring manager, you will see a different setup. If you log in as an HR, you will see a different setup. It is all how you're configuring the system. Okay, the moment I click on this Calvin Roderick, if I'm not wrong, yeah, so these are the panels that you will see for Calvin Randwick. Okay, so you keep doing next, 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 and you can always set up how many fields I have to see in this particular panel, where there should be a drop down, what are the values of this drop down, how is the country coming up automatically, do you have to say automate something, or you wanted to have a data travel from recruitment to here. If somebody is getting started directly into onboarding, then the recruiter or say the onboarding employee should fill everything, because recruitment is not there, so the data is not flowing obviously into onboarding this way. And then you just keep doing next, 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 and then you fill up this particular form. After this, the employee is going to get a link, the one that I showed you in the slide, is going to open that link and now start looking into the data which is filled. Okay, this is all correct, 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 and then fill up or upload all the documents which are necessary, and then submit, so that the onboarding employee will be receiving all that data, and he will or she will validate all the data and then call for a joining. All right, any questions in this process, guys? So this is about the entire demonstration with the system look and feel. I'll not show you the entire look and feel because that would take a lot of time again. So we are going to do anyways a deep dive of all the sessions into how you'll have to configure each one of these panels, how you'll have to automate the email notifications, etc., which are still a lot of features which we will be seeing in the upcoming sessions. Okay, now I leave the forum to you. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask, and it's over to you guys.
No, ma'am, it is good.
Nice.
No, not right now. Question comes at the time of configuration.
That is true. Question comes at the time of configuration, provided you understand the process. If you know that, yes, I have to create 5 panels because of the requirements, what you have to configure under those 5 panels is something that you will be deciding. All right. So good that you both do not have any questions. Still, you have any sort of an out of context questions with respect to RCM onboarding or employee or say success factors introduction, you can still go ahead and ask.